Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the show. My name is Stephen D. Kelly. This is the Stephen D. Kelly Show, the one and only. We are Truth Cat Radio, the one and only. Sponsored by the Eternal Mr. Kitten. A while back, people said, I was getting some art done. Someone said, hey, we need to make some stylized graphics. I said, oh, I want you to put Mr. Kitten's face in it. He says, what? That's a little limiting. Oh, well. Hey, what can I say? All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm still in recovery mode. All right. Okay, anyway, once again, my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is my show, such as it is. It's now 6:02. It's December 18th, 2025. Wow. It's roughly 7 days away from Christmas, or shall we say, Western Gregorian calendar. I get my Gregorian and my Julian mixed up. Roman Catholic Christmas, along with the rest of the West. In Russia and the East, Greece, those areas, they celebrate Christmas on January 7th. Hey! And then, of course, there's the whole thing with the wise men, it gets strung along. Anyway, I have lights up. They're on. They're on a timer. They just have to plug them in, and they go on. They're always there. I used to think it was tacky. People left their lights up all year. But, these little LEDs, who cares? I live in a ghetto. Who cares? The Chinese people next door, they've got dangly lights. They look like, I don't know, icicles or something. They left those up all year. I mean, come on. Jeez, that's not even discreet. Anyway. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I don't have a title for you. I'm probably going to bitch about some current event type stuff that I think is significant, but at the same time, I really have to struggle to get this through people's heads. It seems like the gist, or shall I say, the one item that I would really like to impress upon the world, and I know this is not the end all, this is not obviously Occupy the Getty, that's certainly the mission, but the lesson or the information, the fact that I want to get through everybody's head is the nature of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, it occurred to me here not too long ago, and I can be pretty slow. It takes a little while for some of this stuff to sink into my head, even when it's right in front of my face. It may have to sit there for a while before I realize what the hell I just digested. But I guess you could say when the Senate subcommittee, whatever it is, House Oversight Committee released a bunch of information. One of the things they did release was heavily redacted documents from Epstein. I believe it was email correspondence or something of this nature regarding or involving Gordon Getty. And this illustrated a structure, a flow chart, a power structure, if you will, that is still somewhat secretive that people don't understand. Now, ultimately, the concept of this Intertel mafia, this worldwide Khazar mafia, whatever you want to call it, is still something that even if it was obvious and common knowledge, wouldn't probably make a whole lot of difference in everybody's lives. You're programmed not to get a reaction from these things. There's very few things that you do get a reaction from, one of which, of course, is this concept of pedophilia. And, of course, again, that's because it's taboo, sex with children. You're not supposed to do it. Yet, for some reason, I think the taboo nature of it is what makes it exciting to people. Everyone wants to say, well, this is terrible, this is terrible. But how many of you like to watch stupid movies that portray violence and this kind of crap? I mean, people, I think humans, call it what you will, rubbernecking, whatever, you're drawn to this stuff, and you may feign disgust, and you may feign a hatred for this kind of activity, but at the same time, you don't do anything. If anything, you attack those of us who are trying to do something. Yeah, you bitches, I'm not going to forget you. Anyway, so again, it's like the Occupy the Getty mission, Obviously, we're trying to end Satan on earth. We're trying to end the worldwide mafia. We're trying to end all humankind type evil, ancient evil on earth. It's extremely difficult task. At the same time, it's a very complex task because just trying to understand the nature of the enemy and the details, the crimes, the motivations, all the various different aspects that you might think is necessary to understand in order to conquer this enemy. None of that is really important. It really isn't. And back to Epstein, even today, in this so-called intelligent world that we live in, this world that's supposedly peopled with leaders that have semblance of intelligence. I mean, academics aside, it's just like people, well, they walk and talk and, move around and try to have airs of having some sort of intellectual, standing, but it just can't possibly be there. There's just so many examples of stupidity that people swallow. And the Epstein thing, again, as a result of this information being leaked, there are reactions and there's revelations, and let's see, so many of them. I mean, the information coming out. I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of pictures of this guy with little girls and what have you. But the common denominator here, the big noise that we keep having rammed into our heads, is this concept of human trafficking. He's a pedophile. He's a human trafficker. He's a mean, nasty man that has sex with children and provides them to other people, so he can do bribery and extortion and works for Israel, blah, 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 blah. That's not important. But that's not who he is. That is his hobby. That's his hobby. Who is he? Here's the thing. You see that asshole Trump. You see this guy Trump. I mean, my God, he's gotten so retarded. I'm not going to start talking like Trump, but that buffoon is just a buffoon. There is no semblance of intelligence or control or any authority with that fool. And we could talk all the next hour at least about the really retarded things he's doing. I mean, not the least of which is his trying to take over Venezuela over some bullshit. Well, I mean, stealing their oil, of course, is not bullshit, but it's theft, it's deceit, it's small hat. And again, even with Jeffrey Epstein, yes, it's small hat. As we enter into the Hanukkah season, it's, the small hat thing is in our face. It's nothing but that in our face right now, but it's not the whole tribe. It's just these little Shabbatnik posers that control the rest of them. I mean, they are the genocidal ones. They will be the first one to offer up their victims from within their own tribe to gain power. Kind of like Bondi Beach, like that bald asshole that moved to Australia, 2 weeks ago, and he's already involved in the shooting alleged shooting where he sustained a flesh wound to the top of his dome. Got blood all over the place. Where would he be without his camera, his selfie camera? And this is the same guy that was involved in, January 7th, bitching about being a witness to that. It's kind of like the old man that got up in right after the Charlie Kirk shooting and said, shoot me and all that crap, and he was also involved in 9/11. I mean, the actors pool or the bad actors pool, whatever you want to call it, it seems to be relatively small. Once you served in one mission, they call you back for another gig somewhere else. And yeah, people died at that shooting in Australia, and I believe the shooters were probably IDF, but does it matter? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Well, anyway, back to Epstein. Here's the thing. Forget about the human trafficking. He is the leader of the worldwide mafia. He still is. He's the boss. He's the guy that took over. He's the CEO. He's not just some pedophile. They're all pedophiles, but he's the boss of all these guys, and it doesn't have anything to do with pedophilia. That's like eating sandwiches. They all do it, but it's not what they live for. It's not what gives them meaning. It's not their purpose in life. Their purpose in life is serving Satan. The pedophilia thing is just something that comes with it that they happen to all do. It's kind of like healing is service to others. There's lots of ways to serve others, but healing is naturally a good part of it. Well, pedophilia is a big part of that Satanism shit. But you know, the very fact that they are telling you, these so-called intellectual leaders, these so-called moral guided rule of law types in various different Western capitals that piss and moan over the human trafficking, they don't mention anything else. They want you to think that that is all it is. It's just a case of human trafficking. He's just a fucking bloody pedophile. All those people from Israel, those prime ministers and what have you, those Mossad types, oh, they must be into little girls. No, no, that's not what they were there for. Yeah, God, I guess, I don't know. How much effort do I want to put into this, really, seriously, people? Like I said, the Getty mission is the biggest thing on earth. It's much more than occupying a building and accessing an elevator and trying to gain entry into a bunker and subsequent control of said bunker. It's much more than that. It's just a step. It's one step in conquering the entire monster. But in order for us to do that, I have to get you guys to focus on the pedophilia. I've said this before. The very fact that they've stolen 98% of all the wealth in the world in history and dug a big pit and put the wealth down there and hid it away from you, that doesn't bother you. Child rape, sure, that bothers you. Slavery, obviously, there's adults too. There's all sorts of different types of slavery. You don't get to come out once you go down there. I don't know. Like talking about the technology, the various things that are down there, what they have. What's the point? What's the point? It's like a circus sideshow. I'm not here to provide you with that. I'm not here to tell you if we do this, you'll get golden toilets, you'll get med beds, you'll get whatever bullshit that the enemy is using down there that they're keeping from us. That's not our motivation for doing this. First of all, my motivation is to crush the enemy. My motivation is to stop them for forever. Take everything away from them, cause them great displeasure. That's my motivation. But the reality is that once you realize that this is what you're here for, your motivation is irrelevant. The only thing that's important is that that you realize that this is something that you are put here for, and B, that you don't waste any time and you get on it immediately, and I suppose C, and that you're effective and efficient. Now, I'm getting pretty old, incredibly. I think to myself, well, if you worked harder to preserve your health and stuff, yeah, right, then I'd probably give myself a heart attack doing push-ups or something. But either way, I have a very strong feeling, and I believe this is true, is that we will reach a point this year, 2026, which is numerically speaking a 1, which is a Christ number, that we will reach a critical mass. We're so close to it right now. I mean, if I was to say that this little bit of flack that I had to deal with this week was any kind of an indicator last week, that's probably an accurate way of measuring these things, because, it's like they say, you're over the target when the flack starts getting heavy. And I'd say we're starting to get some flack. But you don't have a lot of time. And I guess that the enemy knows it. And that brings us back to asshole Trump and his little hat advisors and the things that are going on. I mean, it's just amazing, to be honest with you, to live in this world, the Western world. I mean, obviously I have a Southern California perspective, Los Angeles and all that, but at the same time, as a person of my age who's been absorbing this for so long, it's mind-boggling that every single issue has become so dominated by these little hat characters. Tiny, tiny percentage of the population. It's kind of like chemtrails. There was a time when they didn't exist, and now all of a sudden they're there. They're spreading everywhere. You can't get rid of them. They won't go away. They come back in the morning. It's kind of the situation with little hats. Now, it's going to get bad. And of course, when we talk about getting bad, we talk about the whole Palantir thing, the surveillance, the AI, the digital nonsense that's going on. And of course, your heroes, Elon and these tech giants, are all involved, of course. But the reality, of course, is that if you understand how these things really work, and if you were anywhere close to the epicenter of it when it was happening, you'd know that Jeffrey Epstein's the boss. You think of Elon Musk is now, what's he worth, $266 billion? People go, oh, he's the richest man in the world again. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Is his name Rothschild? I don't think so. Those guys are in the trillions. Trillions. Anyway, point is that he may get all the press and the TV, but the man is Epstein. Epstein's the boss. Epstein is the architect of all that stuff, all that nasty, nasty stuff that's coming down. Now, if you don't think it's coming down, you just look at Trump and what he's doing, of course, with his ridiculous display of badness going on. I mean, my God, they're celebrating Hanukkah right now, and you'd think that the little guys with the little square wooden squares and black straps on their wrist, you'd think they were representative of all the Jews. Bullshit. That little square is Satan. That's Saturn. That's satanic shit. Those guys are satanic. They're doing that right in front of everybody's face. Kabbalah, all that mysticism, Saturn shit, black cubes, that has nothing to do. Well, I don't even want to talk about Judaism. I mean, Hebrew, whatever. It's all corrupted by now. Fuck Abraham. Anyway, he appointed a anti-Semitism czar, as they call it, which is kind of fucking ridiculous. Again, remember, it's 2% of the population, but we need a czar to control the whatever. Okay, anyway, and I don't even have to tell you that they're not Semites. I mean, that's a joke. Obviously, Palestinians, Canaanites, those are Semites. But this anti-Semitism czar that this guy appointed, this is a government agency. He was not born here in the United States. He was born in Israel. Okay, he's not a citizen, but he's going to have this power, this horrible, horrible power, censorship, control, whatever, that they're going to do over the people of this country. And, of course, he was wearing his little hat when he says this. You know what he said? He says, we're not, and again, I'm not talking about all Jews, but the enemy likes to use that word as if to suggest that it's about Jews. No, it's not about Jews. It's about Satan. It's about their little Satan club hiding behind all the rest of the Jews. Anyway, he says that this new agency, this anti-Semitism thing that Trump started, it's not just to protect the Jews of the United States. It's to protect the Jews of the world. I'm sorry, what? The world? we set up a anti-Jew police to monitor the world. I'm sorry, what? You guys ever heard of that houseplant, the Wandering Jew? It's one of the first houseplants I ever learned to grow. Anyway, of course, Skip. Skip. Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a long time. He says, yes, I'm a, what does he call himself? Desert trailer. I don't know. Wanderer. Anyway, pardon me. Oh, yeah, good idea, T. So this is absolutely fucking ridiculous that they would have such a thing. Even think about it. And of course, they're going to look at your passports. If you're outside the United States and you're trying to come in the United States, they're going to check your passport. They're going to check your phone. They're going to take your phone. They're going to check your social media and see what you've been doing for the last 5 years. If you've ever said anything hateful about Israel. J.D. Vance the other day, he came out and said something about, well, I can't remember exactly what it was he said, but he tried to suggest that criticizing the war against the Palestinians was not necessarily anti-Israel, something of that nature. Whatever it was, wow, this guy's not going to be president now, but it's pretty ridiculous. Yep. What else? Let's see. Trump's celebrating Hanukkah in the White House right now. The guys with the little, black cubes and all that. Yeah, I think he's pretty much come out and admitted it. Interesting. What else is going on? Let's see, Zelensky. I'm just so dead tired of all this crap. I mean, my God, the Bondi Beach shit. I mean, whatever. I mean, it seems like there's something happened last week, and I just completely blew it off. But Ukraine, of course, Mirnograd's dying. I mean, it's so bad right now. They're still taking money, and yet Trump and everyone has said no NATO. Now the latest thing is Zelensky's coming out and says, well, Trump will be gone in a few years, and then we can go back to that whole NATO thing. It's amazing that the entirety of Western Europe, at least the leadership of these relatively tiny, Western European countries, are completely prostrating themselves, bending over, completely showing their genitals to Ukraine, because they seem to think that this country is the future of everything. There's no future for Europe without Ukraine. Ukraine is the largest army in Europe, yada yada, and they've spent everything and given everything. It's just like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, as if to suggest that without Ukraine, Europe doesn't have any hope. And how did that happen? They're pretty much done for. They pretty much have become part of Ukraine. I mean, if you like it or not, but I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Jared Kushner and Larry Fink from BlackRock seem to be the most influential people right now with this whole negotiation process going on over there. And of course, Larry Fink of BlackRock, he invested something like $100 billion in Ukraine, and he'd like to get it back. So of course, that's why he's at the table. Kushner is a slumlord. I don't know what the hell his thing is, but for what reason, why he's there, he has nothing to do with the U.S. government yet there he is. So it's very hard to understand unless you understand that this is a mafia, a Jewish mafia that also happens to be Nazi. I don't really want to go on any further. Seriously, people. I mean, it's mind-boggling. We don't need to talk about it. I mean, the best weapon we have, of course, is this whole Occupy the Getty thing, because it completely bypasses all of the little hat stuff. Completely. Now, the very fact that the largest Jewish cultural center in the United States is, 1.3 miles away from the Getty Center, and it is actually hooked up by a tunnel. That should be a big thing, but we don't have to talk about that. We don't. It just doesn't matter. But if I had to review, I would just say that the big thing here is that you've got to remember is that Epstein is alive. Epstein is not just a child trafficker. That's like saying Gordon Getty is nothing more than a multi-billion-dollar pedophile. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Those people are far beyond just pedophiles. And people need to learn to pull their head out and learn to realize that just because it's taboo and, I don't know, get you a little excited, doesn't mean that that's really what it's all about. I mean, that would be like saying that you've got a secret Satan fetish. You know, I mean, it's almost like saying if we win this battle and conquer Satan, that you're all going to be bored afterwards. It's really something. I mean, seriously, it's like the mission may be our cause. It may be what we were born for, but it's not the meaning of life. There's so much more. And getting past the wickedness is going to allow us to find out what that is. So people, I don't know. Again, the movement that we've got going on, the momentum of the movement, the mission is strong. The number of people that are becoming aware, the people who are becoming disillusioned with the Donald Trump nonsense, that's increasing rapidly. And these people will move into our sphere. And even if they only just mentally become aware of it, that is enough. You know, it's like Cliff High was saying in his little diatribe he did here recently. It's this that we're doing, this movement that we're doing, it's a mission of manifestation. It is definitely manifestation. We are manifesting, and as such, there's no room for doubt. We have no doubt whatsoever that we do complete this mission. Obviously, we'd like to have it done already, but you know, I would say that if you looked at the measurement, where you tried to quantify the amount of work that we've put into it and the distance that we've traveled from the beginning to where we are now, is massive. And I think that it may be hard for us to really see the end of the light at the light, the light at the end of the tunnel. And so many people out there may think, well, this is old news, whatever. They're already bored. But the reality is, this is a fire that'll never be put out. And it is a fire that will consume everything. And we'll finally have our paradise on earth. And I would suggest that if you're not involved, now's a good time to do it. Okay, because there's going to be a lot of people probably this year that will be jumping on the bandwagon. And I would advise all of you, don't wait for this to become fashionable and trendy. Be a leader. Get out there before the other guys and be one of those people that are actually responsible for making it happen. Like my meme team. My God, it's like after the show, they'll probably have all kinds of things to say, but you guys know what's out. Now, there was one question somebody had. They wanted to know if the Getty was ever okay, ever good, or ever was not evil, if it was just corrupt and low. That's like saying, was Donald Trump ever good? No. Was the mafia ever good? No. Were the Nazis ever good? No. Was pedophilia ever good? No. The protocols of learned elders of Zion suggest that they've been working on this stuff for a long time. And technically, yes, they've been digging these tunnels since at least after the flood and probably before the flood. So yeah, this stuff is pretty old. And these rituals, the sacrificial stuff they do, the satanic stuff, the whole pedophilia, blood sacrifice, that is as ancient as it gets. So no, this isn't new. These people didn't wake up bad one day. This is bad that's been going on since before recorded history. And we get to change it. We get to end it. Oh, we're so special. All right, everybody. Like I said, I don't really have a show for you tonight. I'm going to make this thing short. I'm still recovering from Mr. Kitten, but I waited for some sort of inspiration, and I realized that the Jeffrey Epstein thing was the big deal. People are still thinking pedophilia. Remember, that was just his hobby. He's the boss. He's always been the boss. He's been the boss since Vesco died. Okay? Trump's just some fucking loser idiot that they control and they use. All right? I wish I could tell you something good about Venezuela, but fuck. I mean, it's absolutely insane. We look so bad. The piracy. I mean, my God, what are we doing with this scumbag in the... I mean, when is the last time we've had somebody like this? What, Teddy Roosevelt? My God, it's just... Andrew Jackson? I don't know. It's bad. It's embarrassing. All right, well, anyway, thanks to Putin. Thank you, Putin. I'm just going to end it real quick. I'm just going to say that... let me see, those of you that tuned in here, let me just see who's all here. I want to say greetings, first of all. Christmas is here almost pretty soon. I've only got, like I said, a week, so I guess I'll be doing a show. Gosh, I don't know. Am I going to have a Christmas show? We'll see. Maybe I will. But I did get a card today from Corinne. Very nice. Laura said she's going to send me something here recently. Sorry, Laura. Anyway. So, yeah. If you guys want to send Christmas greetings, I'd appreciate it. And of course, if you want to help out economically, the PayPal is StephenKelly714 at yahoo.com. And you got to say friend or family, or I will send it back because I'm not a business. Okay. What else? Well, that's it. It's going to be a very, very quiet holiday here. Hopefully next year, like I said, it's just going to be incredible. At least as far as the mission is concerned, and I'm looking forward to you guys actually making that happen. I don't have to live much longer, but because I know that you guys are going to make it happen. And you know, it's just like me going on without Mr. Kitten. I know you guys will be able to go on without me here before too long, right? But I'll still endure, just like Mr. Kitten will endure. You'll make that happen. We'll work it out. We will. What else do I want to tell you? Yeah, you've got to join my group if you have not at Telegram. I mean, we are growing a little bit. We're still, 77,500, 800, something like that, 800. But we got to do a lot more than that. And it's really sad because I do see a lot of people in there joining for crypto or other bullshit reasons. They're not really willing to make the effort. And there's a lot of lurking going on. I wish people would be a little more active and do something, print some stuff, share some stuff, bring other people in, do whatever. But I'll be happy with what I got, but I know we just need so much more. And every single day that goes by, whether you know it or not, I am trying to do something to finish this mission and bring us all home. All right? So thank God for all of you that have joined and that have been working so hard for all these years. Okay? Where would I be without you? All right. I'm going to go. All right, listen, I will see you here before the end of the year, next show. And like I said, I forgot to look and see who's listening. Well, we got Australia in the house. There's Britain, Czechoslovakia. What? No, Canada? I wonder why we never get anybody from Mexico listening. Let me refresh the page and see if we got any more people. Let's see. No. No Canada tonight. Yeah, Canada's a little butthurt. All right, guys. Once again, my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. And we are Truth Cat Radio, the one and only, forever, Mr. Kitten's home. www.truthcatradio.com. Of course, we're much more than just one radio station or one channel on Telegram. We're all over the place. I hate it when people try to minimize our presence. Anyway, thank you for listening. Once again, my name is Stephen D. Kelly. I'll talk to you guys all very soon, God willing. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Adios. And goodbye. Sorry for the short show.